Chuck here, Best in Tabletop Network. We're here in round one. Nick and I are about to play a very lopsided game where I'm going to completely destroy him. I'm bringing Emperor's Children, bringing a bunch of Terminator squads, lots of deep strike, trying to come in, kill as much as possible, make those charges kill even more. And then he's going to put some dumb Nicrons, right?
Yeah, I'm bringing Necrons, bringing all OBSEC pre-game move Necrons. Lots of melee squads. My goal is to run it, Chuck. And
Yeah, you're running, like, you've got 3 Wraiths and 3
Scorpex squads.
So you're like MSU Necron Rush.
Yep.
Which is probably like one of us is going to get broken and die, and the other one is going to win the game. So this should be very exciting, very interesting. Hey everybody, Chuck here. This is round one. Nick and I versus playing each other in the BiffPod RTT. What do they call it? The Battle of the Generations.
Indeed.
So it's OG BiffPod versus BiffPod the Next Generation.
Yeah.
I think we just went through our army lists, so let's get started. If you kind of want to hit that play, we talk about our deployment here. You can see over in the top left-hand corner that my entire army is hidden in a box. And yeah, right up there. And then I've also hidden a couple of decimators behind some walls over here. Now, Nick, you're kind of all over the place. You're not afraid of me at all. You're up on the line. You got a pre-game 6-inch move. You're like, whatever.
Yeah, so these 2 big pieces of terrain here, we were playing as forced.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have a lot of long-range shooting, because over there in that top left corner is where all your Melta is. So
everything shoots 24 or less. So
yeah. So besides the decimators, I was kind of content to just put everything in a force turn 1, or right here, hide it behind this building. So this is a little interesting trick that I like to do a lot, because I have a pregame move, is you'll notice my deployment line is actually right here. It's these handy little green markers. But I was able to just pre-game move everything 6 into this building. And then I have a nice, perfect launching off point to the middle of the board or this objective over here.
Yeah, that's actually, I think one of the things to talk about as a mistake is I put those cultists up front, and they would have served me better just not existing, because I gave you a more forward target.
It's these cultists here. Yeah, so what's interesting to note here is I'm still doing my pre-game move, and you're Emperor's Children, so you have a redeploy, yeah?
Yeah, which is going to cost me a CP, or 2 CP, but one of them I intended, one I did not.
Yeah. So I think in a moment here, we'll see you redeploy those cultists somewhere else. But
I pop them backwards. Still not enough, which is also, extra bad. But I looked at that and I was like, oh, this is like a 4-inch charge. I need to get out of here.
Yeah. So this is kind of what I was hoping. Like going into this game, I knew that you had a lot of pressure because you have, what is it, the 20 Terminators, I guess 18 Terminators, as well as the Dreadclaw with the Noise Marines. So I knew that what was going to be able to happen is Chuck, if he went first, he'd be able to drop stuff down like the Dreadclaw in the middle, and kind of just go to town on whatever he wanted to. And then with Honor the Prince, he can make that, guaranteed charge out of Deep Strike or nearly guaranteed charge out of Deep Strike. So my plan this game was to either go first and kind of rush your side of the board with these Wraiths to kind of create like a little blockade that you can only Deep Strike in on this side of the board. And if I went second, I'd kind of have to play a lot more defensively, where the Wraiths need to be the first wave and kind of create this forward screen. So you have to Deep Strike away from them, and you can't shoot something behind them, kill that, then charge, kill the Wraiths. That's like game over for me if I let that happen.
Yeah. Well, you're essentially, if you go first, you're rushing me, and if you're going second, you want to trade war. And I think I always want the trade war, so you going first was definitely not to my favor. I also would have liked to, taken up some of this space on the table. But.
Yeah. So what was good here, though, is, you recognize that these cultists here were very much in charge range of these Wraiths. And so you moved them over to here. But what I'm realizing is, these Wraiths can probably make it into this ruin here and then have like a pretty nice charge over these cultists still.
Yeah, they should have been farther back. I put them close enough to step onto the objective to do the mission objective.
Yeah, because what mission were we playing again?
It was I didn't write it down.
It was the scouring.
Scouring, right?
Yeah.
So we can do a mission. We can do an action on each objective once. And I was like, well, if I can get on here, pull that, that's 3 points, in the bank. But I was definitely too close, I think, there. And then Silent King's just running around, being like, if you come out, I'll shoot you.
Yeah. So what you did here is I don't think this decimator got redeployed to back here.
Yep.
So I don't actually have any turn 1 shots with the Silent King or the Locusts. So I just advanced him over here. I'm like, now you can hide behind this wall.
Yeah, they're kind of in this weird game where neither one of them wants to be shot by the other one first. Because the decimators together will kill a min here.
Oh, they'll definitely kill like both the men here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how it works out, really.
Okay, I guess that's what I was worried about. Is you kill like
they could, but there's always there's enough gates in there that like they kill one, or they kill one of your heavy locust destroyers.
Yeah, and these things back here, the locusts and the menhirs are like really my only threat to the decimators from all long range.
Well, and if I was able to pick them up early somehow, that would have been awful for you, because from their point on, I'm just like, oh, well, these are just the decimators are just free as long as they don't get charged, which the race could still do pretty effectively. Yeah,
but they don't really kill them that well.
Yeah, they just sort of they punk them a little bit, and then I shoot in combat because it's an assault weapon, and that's bad for you.
Oh yeah, so that was bad news for me. So I kind of went this first turn pretty defensive. Like my heavy hitters are the Scorpex, and they're all hiding behind walls still. These wraiths, like I said, are trying to make a charge into the cultists to just occupy this objective here. If they can occupy this objective, that's really good, because then you can't start the scan there because they have a unit on it. And also, these wraiths are obsecks, so now you have to kill all of them in order to get the objective back.
Yeah, which is something I didn't think it through. And if I had, I would have measured it. If I'd measured and seen that you were going to be able to touch the objective, then my placement of the cultists would have been way farther back.
Yep.
Because then I would know, no matter what, I'm not going to be able to take the objective from you. I'm not going to be able to do the scan. So,
yep,
that was inexperience. It's been a long time. Like, I haven't been playing much ninth edition missions, the new ones. So that caught me. Yeah,
and that's something that I noticed a lot with my army too. Is people like I tell them it's all obsec, and then they actually play against it for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, this is actually super annoying." like over here, right here in the middle of the board, I have wraiths and scarabs on this objective in a force. So it's like I'm saying, cool, you have to kill both those units in order to get that objective back.
Or warp time some cultists, which I didn't think to do, but now that I'm looking at it, would have been pretty good.
Yeah. Warp time. What is it? The old one doesn't have as many restrictions as all these new warp times.
Well, I can go 12 plus 1d6. So I could probably touch it, but it's hard to say.
So I think we are still getting used to this new thing here, the scoring thing. Also, my phone wasn't connecting to it super well, so it won't.
We couldn't actually get it to function for a part of the game, so
yeah. So it won't switch through for a little bit. But we are in your first turn movement phase here. Yep. So what was your plan now after kind of seeing?
My plan was, I thought I looked at these wraiths that are over in my area. Obviously, I'm going to try to take that out, and then I wanted to shoot the wraiths in the center with the noise marines. And then if I got lucky on the wraiths in the center of the noise marines, I would then shoot. I would try to pick up the scarabs as well to take the 12-point turn away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see it here in a minute, but a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. I thought, for some reason, I'd done the math, and I thought that your Hexmark guy would only kill probably 2 or 3 noise marines. He did a little better than that, which is, we looked at it later, and 4 to 5 is more the correct math. So I don't know, I just screwed something up in that.
Yeah.
Which means the noise marines, double firing them doesn't make a lot of sense at that point. Right? So.
Yeah, so the Hexmark's a really interesting tool in this matchup, because usually I bring him as anti-R&D or anti-deep strike tech, but there's not a lot of people really deep striking stuff these days. But that's something that Chaos really likes.
I'm really into it, right? I want to deep strike 3 turns in a row.
Yep. So the Hexmark's not that good into your Terminators, though. We both knew that. Yep. But since you're, whatchamacallit, Noise Marines are still 1 wound. He's really, really, really good at killing them. And I knew even if I killed 4, that's great, because the strength of your army is the +1 to wound double shoot, and also the Noise Marine strat. The +1 strength, +1 damage, yeah. So
The other thing I could have done in this is I probably could have looked for a way to bring the noise brains in with somebody touching cover. That would have helped
he
too.
does ignore cover.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah. So I think what might have been what I've seen some people do to counter the hex mark in the past. So yeah, here I think you're kind of looking, where am I bringing this drop pod in? So something I've seen people do to counter the hex mark in the past is they'll build like a wall of guys,
Yep.
and then they'll drop in their
Back
deep strike
behind.
unit back here.
That would have been good to do. I don't think I had the ability to do that.
Yeah,
If I'd gone first, I would have had the ability to do it.
exactly.
But going
So-
second, you cleared my forward cultists, so I don't think there was the ability to really get there.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's something you keep saying in this game is you know that the momentum is in my corner, but you're like, I need to bring units in to try to buy this momentum back. Like if I just sit here and let Nick do what he wants, he's going to roll over me.
Like I gave some serious thought to not bringing them in at all this turn. But what would you do at that point? Like you would just rush all 3 Wraith units into my Terminator unit and some cultists in the corner here, and that would have been awful. I'd have no position on the board whatsoever, and then I'd be coming in like on the far left corner, far left bottom corner there, and doing nothing.
Yep.
So
this is a pretty, I mean, what is it? It's a rough turn for you because you did pick Stranglehold and you've kind of accepted, all right, I'm getting this one and this one if I kill these wraiths, but there's no way I can get the middle and no way I can get either of his. So I'm just giving up Stranglehold this turn.
Yeah.
What I'm using this turn for is to try to like buy the board back because you know.
I wanted to kill your forward stuff so that I could at least try to bring something in later next turn.
Exactly. It's
But
better.
I think the way your army's built
Very
with
good.
3 Wraith units and 3 Scorpex, that's actually very difficult because you can afford to just do wave after wave after wave.
Yeah, and that's something that I like try to do when building the list. Because of like my smaller squads of wraiths, I'm kind of able to buy a little bit more units.
So you've brought in your hex mark and killed the noise marines, and I've had to stop and go, okay, what's the plan now? And what I've done is I brought the Terminators up. I guess you haven't shot at them yet, but you're going to. And then I'm going to swap into warp timing them and launching the Terminators out into the fight a little bit more and try to get some damage done.
So which Terminators did you deploy on the board?
These are the melted Terminators, I believe.
So that was something that surprised me because I honestly thought you were going to deep strike all of them. Do you want to kind of like walk through?
Well, if I deep strike all of them and you go first and you just push your wraiths as hard as you can on both flanks and then charge into my stuff, I'm literally nowhere for me to deep strike on turn 2.
Yeah.
So there's no punishment for you to do that, right?
Yep.
So I figured if I did that and you took advantage of that, that was like just KO right out the gate, and I don't want to risk that. If I'd gone first, it might have been okay, but that's like putting the whole game on the first turn flip, and I'm not into that.
Yeah. So that's something that I know how scary these melted Terminators are. Like with the double shooting and the +1 to wound, but their weakness is the range. Like the melted needs to be within 12 inches to do anything. So
if I was
that's
to modify
why
the list, I'd actually probably switch it to all plasma, both units.
Yeah.
For that reason, that the range came in constantly is an issue with them. So
yeah, the plasma's a lot more threatening. So down here we see, I think this was where you shot a decimator that's hiding up here, and then this one had to advance though.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to not give me a 12. So these weapons are assault, but that means he's hitting me with a -1. And you do have access to a reroll all hits and wound stratagem, but it's like the old one, correct? Where it's reroll.
Yeah, so advancing him actually just turned out to be awful. It would have been better to be able to shoot you, because I'm also not like, I guess if he's still on that objective come my turn, I get an 8, but it's not stopping you from getting anything.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of little misses in my first turn here. A lot of like slightly suboptimal, nothing horrible, but like constantly each little thing seems to come out a little suboptimal, and that's not a good way to start a game.
Yeah, but I mean, I liked all the plays you did here because, like we said, if you just kind of let me roll over you, then I mean,
I have to
the game.
I have to present something. I actually really wanted to have like a unit of warp talons or something that could go further, because you get to pick all the engagements with my Terminators. They're used to coming in from deep strike for that, right? So
yeah, this is interesting actually. Thinking back on this, like I know we said the advancing was like the right call because it gives you more points next turn, but Yeah, I guess all you were really trying to do is stop the 12. Like you weren't getting.
But you were
weren't
going to get the
getting
12 anyway.
circled.
I wasn't
Yeah,
stopping the 12. I was just trying to get 4 points for myself next turn.
yeah,
Strangely enough, now that there's only one of them left, I would have had a chance to charge and punch you had I not advanced.
yeah,
And also more likely to have killed you because I wouldn't have the -1. And I do believe there was some 3s in his shooting
yeah.
that were flat misses. So this is, but you can't know that when
Yeah.
you take the plan. So I took the shot I had. I was also hoping to clear your center models and charge the pod in on the hex mark and swing around and get the center as well. That was too greedy as far as how much I thought I would be able to kill.
Yeah, because it's like without. I mean, all you're really doing is shooting +1 to wound bolters down here, and this hex mark clearing out as many noise marines as he did really just
yeah.
let me.
He's the one that put a hole in my plan.
Yep.
Because those noise marines with all the buffs just rip into wraiths.
True. Yeah, you definitely would have killed all the wraiths.
Yeah.
So
here comes the drop pod.
yeah, so this Dreadclaw makes a 9-inch charge out of Deep Strike, and that's when I learned he's like AP4 flat 3 damage.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yep. So he just stomps on the hex mark, but hey, that's fine.
Yep,
75 points.
2
CP. His job here's done.
I follow through and touch the center objective, mostly just to keep you from scanning it.
Yep.
But I know there's not anything happening from that point forward, but might as well.
That's good. So I think we're heading into round 2 here.
Yeah, round 2.
And I've managed to pick up, what is it?
You get 12, you got a strategic scan.
Yep, a 12, and then I scanned up here with the command barge. So that objective is good for me. And I've also successfully R&D'd this quadrant with the Immortals.
Right.
So normally what I do with these guys is start them in one quadrant and then start making their way
Just
down to
run for
another.
it.
Yeah. But in this game, I'm realizing, okay, Chuck still has 9 Plasma Terminators in Deep Strike, as well as, 6 Raptors, and you took R&D. So I'm trying to keep these guys over here as long as they can to keep this area safe, like area screened out.
Yeah, you certainly don't want me coming in from behind you.
Yeah.
And
So I think I've decided to bring in the flayed ones over here this turn. Because this is also like your weaker flank. So if this Wraith here ends up dying, then these flayed ones after R&D and can just go hang out on this objective for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think the decimators are damaging enough to your list that you would prioritize them, right? Like, they're worth getting rid of.
Yep.
I'm actually really quite happy with them from that game. I think they're a fine piece right now. Wish they were a little better at close combat, but I mean, can't really complain a ton.
I mean, hits to Immortals in this current meta, where it seems everyone has a 4-up envol, is quite strong. Or at least high toughness. Like everything's like T5. So, yeah. I like them quite a bit. As someone who loves Wraiths, and also Scorpex with -1 to wound, I'm very scared of Mortals on hits. So I think this is me here trying to figure out, okay, how am I best going to screen with these Immortals? I'm kind of trying to think how I move my army this turn. I realize this flank over here that you got is pretty weak. Like there's a single decimator.
I mean, it's not even really. I don't even have one, right? Like,
yeah, true. Yeah, you're offering me a single decimator that I need to go kill. So I'm sending out my, I think, 4-man squad of Scorpex to go deal with that, and then Locusts and King down here. We're trying to line up some shots on this decimator, but more importantly, they want to get rid of this Dreadclaw because this guy, I mean, he only has a few attacks, but they are AP4 flat 3, and all my infantry.
They're just picking up your valuable models one at a time.
Yeah, which is not what I want. I also picked Code of Combat, which gives me 3 points every time a noble unit kills one of yours. So, oh no, I didn't finish that. I'm looking at this decimator here, and that seems like a very nice 3 points for the king. Or not decimator, Dreadclaw.
Yeah.
Oops.
Just doing some more screening because I was really hoping when you started your turn, you looked like you were just going to drop it and let me have this behind your Silent King over here, and I was very excited to take advantage of that.
Yeah, this would have been very bad. 9 Plasma Terminators coming in with Vets double shoot.
Yeah.
If they don't pick up the Silent King, they probably wound him enough that he's not relevant.
Well, here's the
to
thing.
rest
I think
of the
actually, if they don't shoot the Silent King, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Because I shoot off those immortals, I kill the shooting back here, I carve a hole, and then Silent King has to come over and punch Terminators, which he will get lots of them, but not all of them. So he ends up busy for a long time. But it also makes it really hard for you to screen the next wave. I don't have another wave, but it would like the Raptors and stuff could come in and actually R&D, that kind of stuff. So
Well, yeah. It also dragged me back here into this back
Mhm.
quadrant while all
He-
your Terminators can.
he wouldn't be dead, but he'd be out of the game.
Yep.
So,
So
and they could kill him too. If they're wounding him on 4s with vets with full rerolls and 5s explode, like they could do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yep. So I think I finally started to cement my screening plan. These
Mhm.
wraiths who are down to 2 have decided to just go chill out back there. These Scorpex kind of offer, I think, they're offering a charge on this Dreadclaw in case I don't kill it in shooting.
Mhm.
But also they're just kind of hanging out on the objective as far away from these Terminators as possible, so that these guys don't get an easy charge on them. Oh, and then these wraiths. So yeah, these wraiths is a full squad of 4 that I buff up with +1 to hit, +1 attack. And I'm like, well, here's like the meat of Chuck's army right here. If I can just like gum up his
Just
lines,
go do a
for
bunch
an
of
extra
damage
turn
and
or
hold a
two.
lot of people in place.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because something that I loved about Wraiths back in 8th edition is there were very few ways for people to fall back and shoot or fall back and charge. I feel like there's a lot more of those nowadays, but that is not something that your army had access to. So I was completely fine with this play. I knew that it was going to disrupt your movement, your shooting, even your casting next turn, because I don't think you can fall back and cast Psychic Powers.
Correct.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just kind of existing to, I'm sacrificing them to basically do way more than their points worth of destruction.
Well, that's also like they're going to be up front. So that's more like the more spread out you get, the better you're preventing me from having spaces to bring my things in. Like if you hadn't done that, I could bring those Terminators forward and drop the next set of Terminators right where they're at.
Yep.
Right. And continue to push that forward.
Yeah, they would have come right here, probably charged these Scorpex and killed them, blasted the Wraiths and killed them. So
your Scorpex are going in over here.
Yep.
The Decimator. And then I think you're going to bring the Wraiths in here in a second.
Yep. And I think I bring him into the character, your priest, as well as the last Noise Marines. There's like 5 left.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wanted to deal with those guys. I've seen like even a small squad of those guys start running away later in the game.
Well, the 1 CP strat to be strength 5, 2 damage is amazing against you. Like,
yep.
Even on a small squad, I wouldn't hesitate to do more of that. Plus, they're one of my few OBSEC model units, which is obviously powerful when trying to fight for objectives with you.
Yep. Now, some people might think it was weird. I remember leaving this objective and being like, ooh, I don't know if I love that, but I'm still getting Stranglehold. I still hold these 3 to your...
Oh, I thought this was one of the best things you did. Because you engaged me, and you still got the Stranglehold, still got the hold more, and held me back over in that corner. But the Terminators could affect something center pretty well. But even if I gotten rid of the Wraiths right here, those Terminators can't come out and then really punish something, right? Like they can't come out center table and pound on anything. So you've taken all you've encircled me, but you haven't directly engaged me, except for with the unit you intended to.
Yeah, so I guess I'm just losing exactly what I want to lose every turn, which is fantastic. And I think these Wraiths here they pick up 4 of the Noise Marines. They leave 1 alive.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of impactful reanimation protocol rolls early from the game.
You got on turn 1 and turn 2, you got a 3 dice bring back a Wraith reanimation. I remember it very disheartening.
Yeah, I think I got it almost every time you shot a Wraith unit. You'd kill like 2 or 3, and then 1 would pop back
like
up.
1 comes right back. It was never 3. I remember it was always you shouldn't have gotten it, and you got it anyway. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, which is crazy because like I've played many games where I never get any back, and that's what
they're playing against chaos. They're feeling confident, right? We're coming for it.
So something that I did here too. This is like a small thing that I've kind of done a lot with this list. Is if I have a low health squad, and I might have sacrificed it to like hold an objective for Stranglehold, but these Scorpex here are already doing that. So I decide, okay, why don't I just bring this Wraith back to further screen out some areas? And also, he's within 6 of this Technomancer. So now next turn I can reanimate one, and I could decide to send that 2-man unit out somewhere, or I can decide to hold it back for another turn, and it turns into 3. So yeah, that's something that's pretty cool with how fast this list is. If your opponent doesn't wipe out a squad,
particularly with the Wraiths, right?
Trade places, exactly. Yeah. And then they come back turn 3 or 4 as like a full health squad, and it's not good. Not good. So here we're heading into your turn 2. So what was your plan with this state of the board?
Oh man, everything I'd wanted to happen for previous turn wasn't really terribly successful. Right, the pieces were left over. So I know mostly I was going to come in here. I went over back and forth a little bit. I decided the Terminators are not engaged right now. They're going to try and go around and get into you, because if I keep fighting what you're handing me, I'm not going to be successful. So I'm going to move the Terminators along, warp time them, get into position, and then do a long bomb, Honor the Prince charge into you, and kill some stuff. And then my Daemon Prince is going to come out here and fight the Wraiths that you gave me, and let me clear my own area, and then start getting into your area. And then my other Terminators are going to come down in kind of where I have my score sheet and my dice, and kill off the flayed ones, and try to get my own board back, and let the last Decimator continue to lay down firepower on you.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like I already felt that the situation was bad, because I felt like I was a turn behind you at this point, and that's not where you can't be there. Scores also was pretty bad. At this point, we ended this battle round 2, 28-9. It's like, that is not an acceptable place.
Yeah, because you've been getting 4s, and I've been getting.
I got a 0,
12s.
and then I got a whole 9 in turn 2. It was pretty bad.
Oh yeah. So the other thing I like about this play too is you're getting this objective here. You already have this objective.
I just want to get the Wraiths out of there, so because they're set up. Like, you have to walk the cultists away, or kill them. And the Prince is pretty good at this, right? He has all the right tools.
Yeah, how many attacks is the Prince? You beefed this guy out.
Yeah, he's +1 attack on the charge, so you get like 8. Oh no, he's got this sword, so it's only 6. But then I give him prescience, so on 5s and 6s he gets more attacks, and he's old, so he's still rerolling his own 1s. Coming in with strength 8, AP doesn't really matter, but 3 damage to swing, so he's primed for killing Wraiths. He's super excited about it.
So 6 attacks, rerolling 1s, 5s and 6s explode, wounded on 3s. Every 4 if I fails to dead Wraith, I only got 3 left.
Yeah. So it felt pretty good that he would do it, or at least put you at 1 Wraith left, and then 1 Wraith isn't enough to really get rid of the cultists. So I felt like it was fine either way, and then he would just clean it up later.
Yeah.
Or most likely it would just run away, right?
Well, we'll see. So I like that, because you're using like this unit that's in the back here to go out and fight these guys, and instead of sending the Terminators this way, they go over here to the Scorpex. Because killing the Scorpex is really important, because if these guys get to connect with you for free, like, they'll kill it. They'll kill you.
Oh, sure. It's whoever acts first in this scenario. What's really frustrating in that regard is, like, my Terminator unit is like 300-something points, and yours is 100 and 200 points.
Yeah, 150. Yeah, Scorpex went down to 30.
Yeah, they are such a powerhouse.
Yeah, they're probably, at least in my opinion, top 3 units in the Necron book now.
Yeah,
one of the top 3.
I think most of my Necron builds start with Cortex and Wraiths.
Yeah, I love them. I mean, as is obvious, that's all I'm playing basically.
Yeah, and this is just me just shooting stuff, I think, with the Terminators there.
Yep. So this is good, because it's you're trying to get Stranglehold still. Like, you're still trying to get your secondaries. So those 3 that I have circled in red, will hopefully be under your control by the end of the turn.
I know. Actually, I knew they would not.
You knew they wouldn't?
Yeah, because you've got your Catacomb March Guard there.
Oh, yeah.
He's towed in, and Obsec. Yep. So it was like, I don't think I was ever going to get Stranglehold, and I think it was just a bad pick. I should have never tried to fight you on objectives. That's where you want me to fight you.
Yeah.
I could have secured one so that you could never reach it, and made sure I got my force and then just fight you from there, I think I would have been much better off. But
Yep.
it's funny. I've played your army more than I've played against it. It's really interesting to get a different viewpoint playing against it.
Yeah, I haven't actually played the mirror match yet, and that's something I'm like a little scared of.
That would be weird.
I rely on I'd be like, I'm obsec, and they'd be like, so am I, and then it's like, oh wait,
Yeah.
now you have to counter models. Like, okay.
But really, at that point, it's you're daring each other to charge each other.
Yep.
And whoever successfully charges first is probably fine. But then the mission might mean like primary might flip that, so it's pretty awkward.
Yeah, because something that I get a lot is that if I go second, that 12 primary at the end of the game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So it's a big change. So I think here your Terminators, this is something that continuously happens in our game a lot. They leave like exactly one guy left.
Yep. I think he's got one wound left even.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember
too.
sitting there staring around, looking around, just being like, yep, I got nothing else.
So now you have to decide, okay, do I charge these flayed ones or do I charge this single score pack?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's another unit of...
oh, yeah, he dies to shooting. Oh, this is when you double shot. Yeah, you're debating, do I double shoot these guys or double shoot these guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought if I double shot the ones up top, I would do enough damage that I would not be able to charge you anymore. And I think that would have been actively bad. So...
All right, here comes the Terminators landing their charge. Double ones into double fives. Let's go. And I think something too is you're trying to stay outside of heroic from this barge.
Yeah, which is just a mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake. The Voltaic staff you have is perfect for killing these Terminators.
Yeah. I think you should have just... Yeah, I think you should have just accepted it though, because it's like you get to go first at least, and hopefully wipe out the Scorpex. Because like if even one lives, that's bad, because then I get to try to reanimate the other four.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no, I agree. I think it's better to make, like, if you're going to commit wholeheartedly and try to get the kills in on them, because it's bad otherwise.
Yeah, I will tell you, it's not great. So here we got
Terminators are like, hey, we kill these these little guys.
Oh yeah, this was interesting play here. So this is something that doesn't come up that often, but this plasma site rolled to inject into the Scorpec here, and I rolled a 1, so it killed one. So I pulled this one away, which now makes it kind of hard for you to get these like back few guys into combat.
Yep. Yeah, without touching the Lord.
Yeah, this is you trying to figure, okay, what's like 1 inch away from this guy? And I think it manages to get 3 guys out of combat because this one Scorpec does.
Which is huge. Like, that's a lot of attacks.
Yeah.
Like 4 attacks apiece. That's
something that not a lot of people are going to see at first, I think.
But it's hard to plan because it's a 1 in 6 that's going to happen. But knowing how to take advantage of it when it happens is really important.
Yeah. Exactly. I've had that come up. You might think it like never comes up, but this is the second time I've had it like come up. That's super impactful. I was telling you about the first one into Custodes.
Yeah.
And it's just like a very weird scenario when it comes up, and it's kind of nice to be like, okay, well, here goes that 1 in 6. Let's see what happens.
I think this is the Terminators. They work you all the way down to just one guy in the squad.
Yep.
And then I give him a wrap because I might as well. Yep. I mean, it doesn't matter one way or the other, but I'm at least minimizing some of your ability.
So here, I think I rolled a reanimate, and I don't even know if a single one comes back, which is pretty crazy because 4 died. But I mean, that's dice.
You've already done all your reanimation.
Oh yeah, I don't need any more. Then we got this combat up here, and the poor flayed ones that are very much dead.
Yeah, I don't think we even bothered with the flayed ones.
Yeah. When I saw that, like, 6 guys killed like 4 Scorpex through -1 to wound, I'm like, all right, 4 flayed ones are dead.
So you see this roll, it's massive. I actually did incredibly well with the Prince. And you were like, yeah, how would I make, I think it was 9 out of 10 4-ups.
No, I made every invul. You made me roll like 7 or 8 invuls.
Yeah, it was just like, nah, I'm not taking any of those.
Yeah. So this goes very poorly because all the wraiths are still alive up here in the top left.
Yeah, we accomplished nothing. I was just like, oh, well, I guess that's the way it is then. It's like,
Luckily, you still maintain
not killing
control.
one of the Scorpex and then also not killing anything in Wraiths there. I was just, like, I put it in my head. I was like, okay, I'm not winning anymore. This right here moves to a how do I get points out of this game?
Mhm.
And even then, the way my secondaries are arranged, there's not a lot.
Yeah, because at this point, you've missed Stranglehold twice.
I know that I'm never getting Stranglehold.
Yep. And R&D, I think you have this quadrant done, so you still need the other 3.
Right. And you're not going to let me into the other 2, so I could possibly get, some Wraiths back into my other one to get 4 points, but nothing
You're not
like...
going there. So
or some Raptors, not Wraiths. I don't have any of those.
So here we are. I think we're calculating up into 2. I'm kind of trying to realize, okay, like how many points left are possible, but let's like see another turn.
Yeah.
Because, hey, it's round 1, I've had some swingy rolls. Maybe you're due for a swing of luck,
Yeah.
And I think heading into turn 3, I realized, okay, this is a really big problem over here. All these Terminators.
Terminators, yeah. And then that's the goal, right? Is they were intended to get pressure off of me. And then it's unfortunate. See, when I charged the Terminators into the flayed ones, I pulled myself out of range for a follow-up move of having the sorcerer with the jump pack pop over and warp time them back into the fight.
Oh, because he's like over here, yeah.
Yeah. So it made the distance too great. So when I killed them, I should have just barely touched them and killed them, and then consolidated back in his direction. I think it would have been fine.
Yeah, because I had a flayed one that was like right here. Oh, that's not a circle. Right here. And so you could have probably charged to that guy and then piled in around him and then consolidated this way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
That would have got me better into the fight. Right.
Because I basically go, these guys aren't a problem this turn. This is a problem. This up here would be a problem, except my Wraiths boss their saves, so they just get to go be annoying for another turn.
Yeah, if the Prince had been free to then follow up into another attack here, I think that puts me back in the game.
Yes.
But that role of just like, no, your Prince doesn't do anything this turn. So okay, that's enough. And I don't even think necessarily that puts me in like a winning position. It just let me continue to play.
Yeah.
When that failed, I was just like, oh well, bye.
So now this is kind of like the last stage of the game for me, where it's like, okay, I have 5 Scorpex left and the King left as like my main threat pieces. So what they're doing is they're coming out of their little hidey hole. They're going to come around, try to one-shot these Terminators. The King's going to come in and try to support them.
What's funny is I don't think you need to even worry about one-shotting the Terminators. You put a lot of effort in there. I think you could have just send the Scorpex in and just wrecked them.
Yeah.
Because like 4 Terminators left over is not going to do anything, and they're not going to get away from you. So you would just pick them up later anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
I guess I was thinking like...
I don't think I was giving you enough of a threat that you should have been doing something else either. So
yeah, yeah. King doesn't need to exist back here anymore. Why not get free movement going this way? And now he is threatening like this part of the board.
Well, also, you're in a great position to abandon the objective where I have the full unit of Terminators down below. Just be like, yeah, that's yours, whatever. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, and I even actually have 2 Scarabs on it, so I still have the objective. And I know that you have to charge them to clear them. Or, I mean, you could shoot them, but these guys are eventually...
I actually think you probably didn't want to put the Scarabs there.
Yeah.
Because that's just movement for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, if they weren't there, my play would be to advance those Terminators. Or possibly move forward 5 and do Rod. Right? Like, they weren't going to do anything next turn. But it's hard to know, like... I knew once I looked at it, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to warp tighten them. That's too far. Would have been nice to put in 1,000 Suns at that point.
Yeah. Something that's interesting in this game, I know that people complain about command protocols not really being that impactful. I don't know if you're... I usually like to do, like, especially in a bloody game like this, do Hungry Void, which is like the +1 strength on the first round of combat. I like to do that turns 2 and turn 3 because the King lets you double up. In this game, I kind of realize I'm like, because of how far apart we are and how like close these objectives are together, movement's going to be super important. So I did Sudden Storm turn 1 and 2 just so I
Yeah.
could like.
I thought
get
that was
extra.
really good.
Yeah.
When you revealed that it was your, you were doubling up on it, I was like, oh, actually, that. At first, I was like, what? And then I just thought about it. I was like, no, it makes a lot of sense. Like, you very rarely get to fight another close combat army that also is slower than you.
Yeah.
And you're just hammering home that you have the speed on me to the point where like I have to honor the Prince charge you, and I have to risk it still to make that happen.
Yeah, everyone thinks Necrons are slow, but these guys, these
Then they
Wraiths
get
go,
wraithed.
yeah, they go 14 with the Sudden Storm and the +1 move from the.
I think of wraiths as like they're like the form a line kind of thing. You
Mhm.
send them into your opponent's army, and that gives the rest of your army time to arrive. So the wraiths go in and like, okay, everybody, please wait your turn. The Scorpex will be with you in a moment.
Yeah,
You're gonna get it.
that's the strategy. It's pretty simple. And
Well,
in
this-
games where I have to play a little more defensively, they get to kind of go out there and toe onto
Yeah.
objectives.
So that's the Terminators. I think they got entirely picked up by the Scorpex, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
They didn't even wait for anything else. They're just like, oh, okay, we'll go. Sorry. And that's, I mean, honestly, if they'd been 3-wound Terminators, they would have survived, but like 2 or 3 of them would have come out, it still wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Would have been a functional enough piece to make a difference in the game.
And that's something that I usually like to do is keep this last squad of Scorpex nearby the king. Or make 2 if I can, but at least 1. So then I have 1 squad running in with +1 to hit, extra strength, extra
Super
attacks.
strong. The
Also
reroll the
reroll
wound
wounds.
thing is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I played into a game with I think Bellicor at one point, and I charged Bellicor with the king and 5 Scorpex, and the Scorpex like took him down alone.
Yeah.
So it's a very strong punch unit when you combine the 2 together. So
Oh, this is me trying, like, now that you've committed, I'm checking the warp time ranges to see if I can get any sneaky play there.
Yeah.
But
So
even
at
if I
this
could,
point-
you're far enough away that it wouldn't matter.
Yep.
So,
It's what, turn 3, you've got Terminators, and you got the Prince are like your 2 big threats.
Yep.
And I guess there's 1 cheeky Decimator up here. Yeah?
Sure. Yeah. I don't. What it is, I basically just measured out. Like, look, I'm not going to get any more Stranglehold. I might get 1 more R&D, and the Long War is just not happening for me. It's really frustrating because I probably could have had, like, if I had killed 1 more Wraith and I'd killed 1 more Scorpec, that's like 6 more points on Long War, right? Like, it's such a sketchy take against Necrons because sometimes they just don't die. So I take my pieces that can fight, and I'm like, you know what? We'll go for it. We're going to try to kill the center and call it good.
Yeah. Let's see them moving out to
I
there.
know everything I'm sending here, if it's successful, which isn't even like a guaranteed, the follow-up from the Silent King will finish it all off. But at least I can put a hole in you and feel good about myself.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, at this point, you've pretty much recognized, like, with the primary lead that I have.
Yeah. It's YOLO time, and I did it, and it never works. So
yeah,
get to fire the Decimator 1 more time. That feels good.
Yeah. So Long War, this is like one of those new secondaries, yeah, the new Chaos specific one when they kind of went through. So what category is it in?
It is I forget the. It's grind them down and to the last.
Yeah, so no mercy, no respite.
That's what it is. And that's what we talked about. We did the math, and I would have gotten like 12 points of no prisoners off you.
Yes.
When we finish that, that's a huge difference, right?
Yeah. So something that I don't think a lot of people realize, a lot of people's book secondaries that are like really good are in the no mercy, no respite category. Like Oath, that new Harlequin one, Deadly Performance, Orcs. I play against Lucas all the time. He takes Stomp 'em good. Those are all no mercy, no respite. So is no prisoners. My list gives up like 118 before reanimations.
Yeah.
And as you can see from this game, I reanimate stuff. So
you reanimate, and then you also have the Technomancer to bring guys back.
Yeah, the Technomancer brings guys back. And so into this list, I mean, I tell like most opponents, I'm just kind of like, if they're like struggling to think of another one, I'm like, yeah, this is like 12 points. Like if we just play the game together.
So I just shot the Decimator. I picked up 2 Wraiths, which is delightful.
Yep, because those rates were scanning the middle, so you stopped me there. Which, I mean, I did that on purpose. You had to choose, do I kill race or kill Scorpex?
And I chose both, but
you
not
chose
really.
both. Yeah.
What's funny is one of those is not a Scorpec. One is the character there.
Yeah, Technomancer.
And he's touching the objective. So if I want to try to get my Stranglehold, I have to like kill both those units, which I know is impossible. But like I'm in Hail Mary zone, so I'm going for it.
There's a thing that Necrons have too. They have a 1 CP stand back on a 4-up strat. Yep. For Cryptek or Noble infantry. So Cryptek's the only character I can reanimate in this list, but it's very funny when someone swarms him with like 30 guys, and then I just go, "Oh, he's back. That's my objective still."
Yeah, or he's back, but he's not trapped or anything. He's like, "Oh, I'm over here."
Yep. So here we got the Terminators making their charge into the Scarabs, which I know you said was like kind of a issue for me, but what I was kind of hoping was, okay, I mean, I expected these Scorpex here to live through this fight, and then next turn them and the King get to go tag team these guys, and that's it.
Well, my hope was that my stuff would still be there. The Prince and the Sorcerer would still be in the center, and then the Terminators would get another turn.
Yeah,
to push again.
Because as we said, I mean, this guy's pretty slappy, but I am popping that -1 to wound stratagem on the Scorpex like all the time.
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of why they even exist, right? Like that strat is so strong.
Yeah. People might think like, what, they have invul, they have no invul, and you just run them around in the open. Like -1 to wound is
pretty big. Pretty T5
strong.
Pretty great.
Yeah. So I think you split your attacks here, and you manage to pick up the character and 1 Scorpec.
Yeah. I basically the attacks all had to be successful for me to pick up both, and that's whatever. I'm still going for it.
Yeah. I mean, I respect what you're doing. You're playing to win here rather than.
It's a single elimination tournament. Points don't matter.
Exactly.
Right. So they're just a vehicle, and if I don't even think like at this point, like I'm looking at the score. If this had all worked, like this whole miracle had come together, and you were standing there with all that stuff dead, I still think I'd have a hard time catching you. But I'd be in it. There'd be a game to be had, but nothing came out of it. So that's the handshake. Done on round 3. We didn't score out 4 and 5, but you were at like 26, 29, 32, 40. You were 46 to my 9, or 46 to 13. So you were so far ahead that I don't think I was catching one way or the other, but you would have easily gotten the rest of your points. I think the only thing that would be threatened is your code of combat, because I would so few models for so few units left. You may not have been able to kill them all with nobles.
Yeah, I don't even know what I had yet. Did I have like 6? Did I have 9?
You have 9. You killed 3 so far, so you'd have to get 2 more. Which is it's possible, but there's like the Prince, the Decimator, the Terminators, and the Cultists. And that's it. You have to be pretty careful.
And that's actually something I've ran into. I played T-Sons at that last GT that I went to, and I took code and actually just like tabled the guy in 3 turns. Didn't get all my code. And I was like, oh, okay.
oh well. It's not the worst situation.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I would have loved to have been able to play it again. I feel like I learned so much in the first matchup. Like I feel like I really came at it from the wrong direction. Taking things like Stranglehold and R&D were both wrong. I think I should have just taken killing. And then if you take this stance of I'm going to hold back, I can come to you. So you still have to come at me. So killing would have been fine all the way around.
Yeah. So next time you play, you think you'd take no prisoners and what else?
I would go no prisoners. I think I might go in for some more like psychic secondary. I think I would have like a psychic interrogation would have probably been fine.
Yeah, mental's quite strong.
The third one's going to be kind of weak, I think, but I think that might just still be long war. It's points here and there, but
yeah. Well, I mean, you can't do long war no prisoners, but
it's no prisoners.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even Strangle's not great to an all OBSEC army, but yeah.
Yeah, in the end, I played this game against you, and then later in the day played a game into Lucas with a similar but different list. And I don't like having that much stuff in Deep Strike. It doesn't feel good to me. It's not my kind of army. So I'm not really looking to continue to play this style of list. So
Yeah, I agree. It's a
fun
lot
experiment,
of
though.
it's a lot of threat, but if you're playing against a list kind of like mine, that
Mhm.
puts a ton of forward pressure and also gets to go first, you're kind of just like stuck in your DZ for the rest of the
Yeah,
game.
and
That's not
you're at
great.
least having to put something of value forward. Like, if you imagine, like, the only codex that's possibly worse than mine is Imperial Guard, and they're just like, oh, we move 2 units way out to the center, and you can't come in.
Yep.
And we just do that a few times, and we still have guys afterwards. And we
Mhm.
had scored engage points while we were doing it. It's like, oh, never
Yeah.
mind.
Well, it was a super fun game.
Mhm.
I had a ton of fun playing you. It was our first game that we played, and I mean, I'm really excited for more.
Yeah. Well, next
Yeah.
time, hopefully, I'll have a better cast list.
Definitely. I look forward to it. I look
We
forward
shall
to
see.
you, yeah, giving me real,
Well,
a real beating.
yeah.
All right.
Should be a good time. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's us. Necrons win by a lot. We wouldn't even
Indeed.
do the math. It's awful.
Continue on to round 2.
Oh yeah.
We'll see
That's your
how they
punishment.
go.
You have to keep playing.
Yeah. See how long the Necron Empire can stand. All right.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate having you here, having you on the channel, and taking a look at our RTT. I would definitely check out the next couple of rounds and then the final round for sure.
Yeah. And
All right.
as always, if you liked this, check us out on Patreon, Best
yeah.
in Tabletop, on YouTube. I'm also on Biff Pod TNG every
Yeah.
Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific time.
And I'm always on Biff Pod, the original, but we don't stick too good to a schedule. So catch us when we get there.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.
Cool. See y'all later.